Hello, welcome. Hopefully you've been practicing the techniques and assessments of the last two videos, and you're now here for our third and last installment. Last time we discussed breathing pattern disorders, and we started some breathing techniques focusing on tongue position in the mouth and also belly first deeper breathing. We're going to piggyback on those and then add a little more techniques towards the end. Okay, although constant mouth breathing has many detrimental effects to your health, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge its purpose at times. Although on its own, it can be very inefficient, there are times and activities that may require both your nose and your mouth to take in air. This is not often, but your body may need to sometimes do this. All right, in the first technique, we're going to go back to what we learned in video 2, where we inhale for 2 seconds and exhale for 4 seconds. There's a pause in between. There's also a technique to your exhale. So tongue up against the roof of your mouth for an inhale, pause, exhale through either a pursed lips or an exhale. Exhale a ha. So it looks like this. That's your pursed lips. The other way is a ha breath. It looks like this. This is not a forced exhale. It is just a way to take air out and have a sound to it. It is not quite like a sigh. When you sigh, you actually kind of bring your body down. This way, you're actually bringing your air out. So it's a little bit different, but it does have the same amount of intensity, a really low intensity level. You may acknowledge the ha breath from going to a yoga class or hearing somebody breathing ha during a yoga lesson. As I speak, keep practicing. You can start relaxing your surrounding muscles to assist with taking in fuller air. You may also benefit from picturing what you're actually filling up. So as you inhale, picture all 5 of your lung lobes filling with air. There are 3 on your right side and 2 lobes on your left. So you can inhale, kind of picture all of those lungs, even the deep ones down in your belly, filling up, and then exhale, picturing all of them being pushed out, all that air being pushed out. Again, not a forcible push, just a normal inhale, exhalation that's deep and full. As you feel that this seems to be easier to do, you can step it up a notch and start thinking about an area of pain that you may have during these breaths. So let's say your neck is in pain and you want to focus on decreasing the pain. What you can do is, as you inhale, picture that neck pain, picture that region, and exhale in the same thought process. Some people will take this a step further, and as they inhale, they're picturing their neck or their injured area taking in a whole bunch of oxygen to that region. They're picturing their muscles, their arteries, fascia, all getting that oxygen while they're inhaling. And then when they exhale, they picture all the toxins that are leaving that area. This is very helpful, and some studies have even shown there is a decrease in pain when this occurs. Ideally, you want your breaths to be about 30 breaths twice a day. You can easily do this. You're talking about 60 breaths when naturally we are taking 17,000 breaths to upwards of 35,000 breaths a day. Adding in 60 intentional breaths really isn't a difficult feat. And honestly, I would say to you, suck it up, Buttercup. Figure it out. You'll be able to handle it. Before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are in a good nostril health state. So make sure you're decongested. Make sure that you can go back to our older video, the last one in video 2, where we showed a technique of decongesting your nose naturally. That was the one where you do a light inhale and exhale. You pinch your nose, you walk around, until you feel a air shortage. Then you take another breath in and then try to breathe normally for about a minute, and then try that routine again until you're feeling a decongestion. You can also use a neti pot as an option, but I don't want you to go through the next couple of techniques without having your nostrils open, or it won't work very well. Okay, so triangle breaths is the first technique. I've done this before for some people just to try to alleviate anxiety. It's a good way to focus on something, and that involves 3 inhalations in a row and then 3 exhalations with a pause in between. This is good for focus because as you're doing it, you can also picture drawing in the air a triangle. So inhaling 3 times, exhaling 3 times. You can do this multiple times. If this takes a few minutes, that's fine. Just make sure you're resuming back to normal breathing. You can also do this as a square breath. So what that will do is that will increase an extra inhalation and exhalation. So it's 4 inhales, 4 exhales with a pause in between. Square breaths are not the same as box breaths. They are actually done differently. Okay, the next one is called alternating breaths. The Ayurvedic name for it is Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana actually stands for channel purification, those 2 different words. It really is a time to kind of detox your body in a way. Do not do this if you have a cold, the flu, or a fever. But it will help to improve flexibility to the breathing region. It is great to decrease blood pressure, good for respiratory problems. It balances your brain and nervous system, and it provides relief from stress, anger, and anxiety. Do this on an empty stomach, or at least when there's been 3 hours since you've eaten. There is great benefit also to weak muscles, damaged nerves, autoimmune diseases, obesity, scoliosis, and ALS. The goal for this is to get full expansion of the lungs and also get the most cells oxygenated. And this is what happens when you're doing nose breathing. You are when you're inhaling, you're obviously taking in oxygen, but when you exhale through your nose, you're still taking in oxygen to the to your cells. So that's why it's efficient breathing. For this one, you want your hand position to be such that your second and third fingers are bent down and kind of out of use. And then you're going to use your thumb and your other 2 fingers to do the basically the nostril blocking. So what you do is you block off a nostril, then you inhale, switch, exhale, inhale, pause, switch, exhale, inhale, pause, switch. And you can do this for a few minutes. It's a great calming mechanism to utilize, a tool to utilize. I've noticed that the other technique to do it is by actually taking those 2 fingers and putting them on your forehead and keeping them there as you switch to sides, from side to side. So you're here, you go from here to here to here, and you keep switching that way, keeping in contact with your face or nose region. A lot of yogi breathers will tell you that even when you're doing it against your nose without touching your forehead, you still want to keep in contact with the bridge of your nose. So even sometimes they'll say to do it like this and then switching from side to side. And I do notice there is a calming effect with that. I do like that technique. When you're doing this, you're gonna notice a balance between sides and activate the opposite sides of your brain. So if you're blocking here, then you're actually you're using this nose and activating this side of the brain. You can also be more efficient with that activation if you just want to do single nostril breathing. For this technique, you just close off one side of your nose, and you're inhaling and exhaling that side maybe for a minute, 2 minutes, and then go back to regular breathing. If you're trying to activate the energizing side, you want to activate the right brain. So in order to activate the right brain, you want to breathe through only your left nostril. So you're blocking off the right nostril to get the left nostril to activate across the body. That will provide an energizing feeling. The opposite way, to activate the left brain, you're going to block the left side and create a calming effect. During the day, your body actually will change which nostrils are dominating. So maybe in the morning, if you're calm, maybe you're going to notice more of a left, like your right side is more dominant. Your right nostril is more dominant. You can actually check this on your own by putting your hand just below your nose. Sometimes it's easier to sit in a relaxed state and inhale and exhale and through your nose, and see if you can tell which side seems to be breathing stronger. Most people will do this if they are in a seated on their knees, a kneeling position, and just calm and breathing normally. When you feel that sensation, maybe you feel that your left nostril is breathing more, and that usually is an energizing sensation. Maybe you want to be more calm. So you can actually utilize that to change that energy for yourself. The next strengthening or breathing technique is called Kapalbhati, and this also means fire breathing or fire breath. One study showed that this type of breathing technique will activate your transverse abdominis more than sit-ups. And if you remember, the transverse abdominis has trouble at times for many people in activating. It is underactivated, which causes a lot of problems because now you're not getting that lower lung activation. So doing the Kapalbhati will help with activating the transverse abdominis. And it did have a significant study to being a stronger EKG value than sit-ups. This also increases strength in your diaphragm, your abdominal wall, and your intercostal muscles. So all around, great for exhalation. It helps to clear mucus-related diseases or conditions like asthma, cystic fibrosis, or COPD. You don't want to do this if you have a hernia, epilepsy, if you're pregnant, you are experiencing vertigo, or if you have gastric acidity issues like ulcerative colitis. You can also do this, or should be doing this, on an empty stomach or at least 3 hours away from when you've last eaten. Kapalbhati is characterized by a quick inhale and a forceful exhale. That exhale is as if, the intensity as if you're blowing out a candle that's about 3 feet away. Beginners, you can do this by guiding the exhale, the forced exhale, by pushing into your abs to help through that exhale. Start slow, don't rush through it, and you do not want it to be like when you're holding in a sneeze, and you don't want it to sound like someone just punched you in the stomach. It's a much more, focused, structured exhale. After about 11 seconds, you're going to take a normal inhale, exhale a couple of times, and then you can do another round for 11 seconds. You can do this about 5 rounds, and this is what it looks like. So it's simple like that. Like I said, take it slow. Don't do it too fast. You need an inhale with it. If you don't have an inhale, you'll probably pass out. So keep your inhale as part of it. It's just a lot more, less pronounced. Yoga poses, there are some great yoga poses to help supplement your respiration, really give you a wider, more open lung feel. Two that come to mind are fish pose and camel pose. They help to open the lungs. If you've ever also heard of Qi Gong. Qi Gong, spelled with a Q, Q-I, is a technique similar to Tai Chi, but does focus more on rhythmic breathing, but has some Tai Chi exercises in it. And this is great practice, and it's so worth checking into to add to like a pre or post workout. The routines as part of it are so beneficial. Jeffrey Chand has a YouTube videos out there that will help you with some of those routines, and he does a fantastic job. One exercise that he offers through Qigong is to help specifically with respiration. And you're going to stand, feet apart, feeling comfortable, knees bent, hands are on your quads, and you're going to inhale while your arms come up, turn your thumbs, and then go out. And then you're going to exhale, bringing your hands in and down. And I'll show you what that looks like. You're going to have a pause as well with that. And you can do that a number of times, 10 or 15 times. And some of his other techniques for Qigong are so great. A lot of bouncing techniques really makes me think of our wrestlers and gymnasts. Even our tennis players can benefit. A lot of that is just kind of like bouncing and really coming back down on your heel, feeling the earth. Great techniques is through Qigong. So hopefully you will check it out and utilize that in supplementing some of your pre or post workout exercises. Better breathing patterns should be practiced throughout the day. Even if it is just a few seconds or remembering a tongue position. Be intentional with your breathing. Try to catch yourself in the act and correct it if needed with a fuller breath. Don't compare yourself to others. Your breath is unique. You can email me questions or comments at adunn@rick.edu. Good luck. Be well. Remember your techniques. Keep your tongue position. Do your 30 breaths in and out through your nose. Remember your exhalations. 2 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Have a good day.